There we are. Let's go to the live tab here and get this thing set up so I can just get this thing started today. There we go. Set it to live chat and put my phone on do not disturb. Set my chat filter to all. And I'll start a brief goal just so it won't be moving up and down on my screen, distracting me. If you're watching on the playback later on, you might want to fast forward through the first couple of minutes, just so I can type this into the chat here. Hey, Kathy Doherty. Hey, Holly Locks. Yes, you did. I know I always say I'm going to try to make this one short, but I'm really going to try to make this one short. I was busy. I was up in the middle of the night working on the latest Jackie video, and it was just too late to release it. I didn't want to release it in the middle of the night, so I released it this morning. And then I was getting together my Nancy Guthrie story for the day when I heard from the sheriff's department. And then right before I went on the air, I heard some breaking news from TMZ regarding the Perez Hilton situation. So I'll have to make a video about that because that's separate than this. But I was just like, oh, wow, that just kind of threw me. It kind of caught me off guard. I didn't see that one coming. Hello, Kathy Doherty. Hello, Holly Locks. Yay, I caught a live. You are a pip, Kathy. And there's another one right there, Leanne Rayner. Thanks for putting up the custom channel emojis. Yeah, I think I need 7 more members before I can be granted emoji number 14. They have to unlock it on the back end somehow. How's everybody doing today? I haven't seen you in a while, Holly. How have you been? Yeah, I did. If you've been watching me the last few days on the lives, you know that I did I submitted a records request with the Pima County Sheriff's Department regarding Nancy Guthrie. And I got a response today, but it was exactly what I expected. 22 people in the house. Let me just get started since I'm going to try to keep this to 30 minutes or less. My name is April Davis, PI. I'm a California licensed private investigator. I am not working on the Nancy Guthrie case. I'm simply reporting the news. And no, this is not specifically a true crime channel. It's a little bit of everything channel. It's basically a way for me to have start documenting my life since I had survived stage 3 breast cancer. So that's what this is about. I've had some people lately going, this isn't true crime. Like, no, it isn't. We just happen to be talking about the Nancy Guthrie case for 201 days now. Yeah, I think today is 201. I know you've heard me say this before, but I can't believe it. I can't believe that we're still here. But I did send a request by email for a copy of the 911 audio. I knew I wouldn't get it because, as I've told my audience, it's part of an active criminal investigation. Hey, Jewel Giacana, welcome in. I did hear the rumors about somebody claimed that they heard on an Ashley Banfield video that the caller was actually a male, meaning, tomato, tomato, and that there was a woman or a female voice in the background saying, you said this wouldn't happen, or you said this won't happen, something to that effect. That could be just a rumor. Don't know, but for whatever reason, they still consider that initial 911 call to Pima County a piece of evidence in an active kidnapping investigation. So, of course, they're not going to release it. Hey, Jackie West, another one of my pips. Deborah. Hello, Deborah. So, 44 people in the house. Everybody try to give me a thumbs up. And if any of you are watching my Jackie videos, please be aware that there was a new one released this morning that has a bit of an update. But basically, I got the standard form letter. Yeah. From a records technician. Woohoo! Somebody important. No, just kidding. Good afternoon. Thank you for contacting our office. This email serves as a formal acknowledgement that we have received your request for public records. Hello, Mostly Dolls Helicopters. And then they basically say, things like processing status, duplicate submissions, next steps, blah, 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 blah. But the main statement is statement from the Pima County Sheriff's Department. The Pima County Sheriff's Department has received a large number of requests for records related to the investigation of the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie. Other Pima County departments, as well as other law enforcement agencies in Pima County, have also received numerous requests for records related to this investigation. The scope of the investigation, involving multiple local law enforcement agencies and the FBI, has resulted in an unusually high number of records generated. Yeah, you think? As the lead local investigative agency, the Sheriff's Department is responsible for ensuring that any information released to the public would not jeopardize the ongoing investigation and subsequent prosecution at both the state and federal level, or infringe on the private or confidential interests of those involved. The Sheriff's Department is in the process of reviewing the requested records to determine which records and what information contained within them can be released to the public. Each of these records can vary greatly in both size and complexity. Where the information in one record may be easily identified as releasable, another record may have information that needs further input or discussion before it can be similarly identified. This means that we cannot give an estimated time frame for completion, as such an estimate would be highly speculative. There's that word. All requesters will be contacted once records are available. Thank you for your patience. James Russell, number 8037, Records Technician 2. Is that his badge number or just his employee ID number? Because I don't think he's a cop if he's just a records technician. What do you think? Is he a deputy? I doubt it. He's probably just a civilian records technician within the department. But he does have a number 8037. Congratulations, James Russell. You have a badge number. Yeah. So it also says processing status. We are currently experiencing a high volume of requests. We are working through each one in the order received. To avoid further delays, please do not submit duplicate requests for the same records. Our office will contact you as soon as the records are available. Yeah. Hello, Harley. Matthias, welcome in. Debbie Myers says, good day, April and everyone. Back at you. Sounds like his state title. Actually, it's a county position. But usually in police departments, most of the records technicians are just civilians. They're not actual law enforcement or LEOs. So who knows? Don't know. Don't care. I knew I would get it. Didn't cost me anything. It'll cost me $10 if I want to get the audio recording of the 911, but by then everybody will have it because, they'll send everybody letters like, we've got it. And they'll just be collecting duplicate $10 bills. So we'll talk about that if and when that ever comes out. Could be never. This case is never solved and it's just hanging in limbo. Heck, we could all be 6 feet under by the time this gets solved at the rate they're going. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they have somebody in mind and they're just trying to cross the T's and dot the I's. But it seemed like they were, this whole case was hedging on that missing, or not missing, but that rootless hair strand that, ended up at the lab in Florida and then eventually got transferred to the FBI, and then they transferred it to their private lab, or labs, plural. And apparently they didn't get anything off of that. So it's a mixed sample, whatever that means. So, yeah, I'm thinking the case is cold. There are a lot more clues coming in, or I shouldn't say clues, but tips, since they released the first 2 ransom notes that were written from the same email address and IP address. Don't know if they were written by the same person. Don't know if they're real, fake, or red herrings. Because once again, this is not a typical kidnapping. But I just wanted to inform you guys, if you saw the video yesterday, and I told you that I sent this in, that I made a request, that, in under 24 hours, I did get an email back. Holly Locks! Just more excuses for not filing the request from the Pima County Sheriff's Department or not filling the request. I understand it. If I were them, I wouldn't release it either because it's still an active criminal investigation, especially if the rumor is true that a man made the call and there's a woman in the background saying, you said this won't happen. Like, what wouldn't happen? If that rumor is true, there's another huge, huge red flag in the case. And I didn't have the case number, but, I told them it was regarding the Nancy Guthrie case. I gave them the day and the estimated time of the call because, remember, there's multiple timelines. And that's Sheriff Nanos. That's on him that there's multiple timelines. But I guess they're going with 11:56 now, 11:56 a.m. that 911 call was placed. But, when were they contacted? By the lady that first they said was from the church, and then they said, no, it was a private citizen that, she went to a house every Sunday morning. They gathered at different homes to watch the church service, either by Zoom or by live streaming. It was Savannah's church in Manhattan. So I guess the lady that hosted that Sunday, she called the family. But what time? What time did the family then get their behinds over to Nancy's? How long were they in the house before somebody called? Who called? What was said? What was heard in the background? Because I'm really interested if somebody in the background really said, you said this won't happen. That could mean a lot of different things. How long did they wait before they called Savannah? Because apparently they had already called all the hospitals and were checking for her whereabouts before Savannah was even aware. And remember, that was the same weekend that Savannah's husband was out of town on his little tennis trip with the boys. Because that's what Savannah gave him for Christmas. Here, I'll let you go for a weekend and you can go out with the boys. I'm going in all kinds of directions in my mind on that. We talked a little bit about that yesterday. What wouldn't happen? The police wouldn't be called. She wouldn't be missing, huh? Kelsers, hi, April, and chat. Sounds like that was a civilian record keeper. Yeah, probably. Who sent you the letter? I'm interested in the 911 phone call. I might pay the $10 to hear it. Yeah. Nobody's getting it. I think most of the YouTubers on the ground have also requested it. A lot of people have requested it. I think what's interesting is they said that there were many agencies involving Pima County that were involved in this. Not as primaries, but maybe as secondary. I wonder if other agencies are involved in any way in the investigation. My friend Donna McCoy, how are you doing? I hope you really liked the little thing I sent you, Donna. I've been meaning to do that. I hope you loved it. I kind of spoiled it yesterday, though. Or was it yesterday? I don't even remember anymore. Yeah, yesterday. Did I spoil it when I'm like, hey, you better get somebody to pick that up off your front porch because it might melt. But anyway, how are you doing, my friend? So yeah, that's the deal. They were like, no, we can't give it out right now because it's part of an investigation. Of course it is. I knew I would get a letter that said those exact words. I just didn't know it would come this soon. Yep, it was great. Love it. I tried a box of those myself before I sent one to you. And let me tell you, it was addictive because my box is already gone. I just inhaled that box. And I don't need the sugar or the calories in the condition I'm in. But boy, that was a nice little treat. So how's everybody doing today? It's hotter than heck here as usual. And next week is supposed to be even worse. So, I'm already worried about the next power bill that's coming since I've got this one to handle. And the worst of our heat is yet to come. I look at the weather app in my iPhone, and they always underestimate what's actually going to happen. So when I see that it's going to be 98, that probably by the time that happens, it's going to be in the hundreds. And we're not even into September yet. Oh my God. Doing good here, hotter than you know what, and busy doing well. Good to hear it, Kelsers. Have I ever tried Fever Tree Ginger Ale? I don't think so. And speaking of that, my local market today, and I did a pickup order because I just wanted to get in and out really quick with the heat. They actually had, for the first time in like months, they had the Diet Ginger Beer, the Bundaberg from Australia, but they had significantly raised the price. I don't know. It's being imported from Australia. Maybe that's why. It is the best. I have not. Do they make a diet one? I don't think I have. If I have, it would have been years ago, and I just don't remember. But I'll look it up. But thanks for throwing that out there. Yeah, I am going to make this short today. As I said, if those of you who just got here, you were here in the very beginning, right before I went on the air, there was some information that came out about the Perez Hilton case in his situation, and I saw it on TMZ. I'll probably have to do a video about it. Probably won't be today because I was up until the middle of the night doing my latest Jackie video, but I was kind of thrown right before I went on the air because I was like, oh my gosh, geez, like this isn't really going to help the situation. This is just getting more messy by the moment. But here today, this video is dedicated to Nancy. Remember, hashtag justice for Nancy. Gosh, I hope she's found soon. This is just dragging on way too long. But you know, now I'm really thinking hard about that 911 call because of the rumors. They're just rumors that a woman in the background said, "You said this won't happen." And then someone else translated that to, "You said this wouldn't happen." You know, I can almost hear a scorned woman's voice in the background, like talking to the male in the room going, "But you said this wouldn't happen." Like, if that's true, that's just, there's another red flag in my book. I actually hope that rumor is not true. And I hope that Nancy Guthrie's family is not involved in this in any way. What is on that 911 call? That's what I want to know, especially since I heard that rumor. And it's only a rumor. You know, just like there's another rumor that, you know, Annie and Tomato are hiding out in Vermont. That's probably not even true. I've had people come in during my lives during the beginning of this case saying, hey, you know, Annie and Tommaso were just hauled away in handcuffs. It wasn't true. You know, people can make up all kinds of stories. But this person who sent a super chat into someone else's live said that they heard that from an Ashley Banfield video. And it was, you know, that the 911 audio obviously is sealed. Both the written part of it and the voice part of it is sealed. But, you know, her source says that this is what's on that call. And let me tell you, leaks do happen. So it is possible that someone in law enforcement leaked that to someone else who, you know, eventually it worked its way down to Ashley Banfield. Could be totally BS. But that's kind of a shocker because I have a lot of problems with everything that happened that day. Like once, you know, Nancy was reported as not showing up at the lady's house to watch the church service, you know, as far as the timing of everything. I heard there was a leak. Yeah. From a Pima County LEO that worked with nanos. Oh, that's interesting. I know that the first leak that Ashley Banfield claimed to have regarding a suspect came from an unidentified federal law enforcement source. But if this came from within Pima County, I don't know. There could be some truth to it. But it may be nothing. Like I said, I hope the Sionis have a very good civil attorney, because if they're not involved in this and somebody else ends up going down for this and they're not related to this in any way, they're going to be in civil court till the end of time, going after everybody that tried to say they were involved. On my channel, you know, I got to be very careful what I say. I'm more interested in the waiters than the chefs. at this time, because I know once the waiters are gathered up, then they'll roll over on the chefs. And I'd rather see the chefs go for life or get the death penalty, where the waiters, they may get a lesser sentence. So I'd kind of like to have one of the waiters, you know, make a confession first. Aurora, welcome in. If that's true, that's a big red flag. Yes, it is. But we don't know that it's true. We don't know if any of this is true. There's so many rumors. But are there red flags? Yes. Is there body language that I don't like? Yep. There's a lot of it I don't like. Oh, let me put a heart on Holly's super chat. Sorry, I forgot to do that, Holly. Also, everybody give her a thumbs up. She was the first super chat of the day. Just more excuses for not filing or filling the request from the Pima County Sheriffs. Yeah, I didn't expect that they would. Kelsa says, it's just hearsay, but I heard that this particular Pima LEO is not getting along with Nanos. It's all hearsay, though. Why did they contact you? Says Mama. You must have missed the beginning, Mama. They just were sending me the standard form letter as to why they can't release the 911 audio at this time, which is exactly what I expected. But you'll have to see the replay. But thanks for coming in, Mama. You can stay in the chat, but yeah, I'm not going to repeat the 20 minutes all over again. But yeah, I expected that. And they got it to me fairly quickly. In less than 24 hours, they sent me a response. So, yeah, James in the record department. Probably just a civilian. And he just sent out the standard form letter, attach, click, because, they probably have thousands of requests. And not just for that, but for police reports regarding this. This is all going to come out at some point. But if I were the Pima County Sheriffs, I wouldn't release anything at this point. Yes, that's true, Holly. Sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. It depends. It seems that often 911 calls are not released until they come out in court. True, but not always true. But yeah, a lot of the times you're right. You're correct. Wow, I got a lot of pips in here today. Pauline and Holly and Kelsers. Who else is a pip in here? Heidi, Donna McCoy, Holly Locks, Leanne Rayner, Mostly Dolls Helicopters. Are you still here? Jackie West, Jewel Giacana. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, it just keeps going. That's amazing. Yeah, those memberships are really starting to add up monthly. Seems a little suspicious. Now, you mean that they turned me down? Or what's on the 911 call? It's all part of an active criminal investigation. So, yeah, for those of you that may have come in because of Jackie, make sure you see the latest Jackie video. I released it at 9:30 this morning. I was trying to get it ready for last night, but there were just too many problems and it was rushed, and you'll see it. But it does provide a lot of additional information. I don't know if you've ever seen the show Severance, but there is a restaurant in that show called Pips. I've never seen that show. I've never even heard of that show. Yeah, for those of you that are the non-members, the Pips are the members, the PI posse. Oh my gosh. Oh, you saw the Jackie video, Pauline? Yeah, it was kind of sad. At least I know how things were at the very end. Suzanne sent the treat. Thank you, Suzanne. Appreciate that. First jewel of the day. There's another 2 pennies to add to the LADWP bill. I thank you. We get enough of those pennies, I might be able to pay half of it down. Now I've got to start preparing for the next one. Let Them 66. Hello. Where are you coming in from, Let Them? Where's everybody coming in from today? I'm in Los Angeles in a very hot San Fernando Valley. LA is so big, we have microclimates. You can be on the beach and it's like 70 degrees, and you could be in the valley and it's 100. It could be a 20 to 30 degree temperature swing, depending on what part of the town. Mom of 3, Oklahoma. That's where my cousin is, Mama. Let them 66, Michigan. Well, I hope it's cooler in Michigan than it is in Southern California. Jewel Giacana, Texas. It's probably pretty hot there, I would imagine. Pickled Bird, welcome back. Yeah, so that's the latest on that. And like I said, just before I went on the air, I heard like something pretty big regarding the Perez Hilton situation, and it kind of threw me because I didn't really expect that to happen this quickly. But I'll have to make a video about that. Mostly Dolls Helicopters sent me a flower. Thank you. I really appreciate that. A woman always loves to get flowers. I caught up Brooklyn, New York with a thunderstorm. Oh, that would be nice. I didn't know you were in Brooklyn, Jackie. So you're kind of close to Savannah, aren't you? Jenks, just south of Tulsa. That's where my cousin is. He's in Tulsa. My favorite YouTuber's in Tulsa right now, but he just took a trip to Alaska. Does anybody watch Corey Williams? Yeah, for the first time since they left Alaska, they went back there, and now Corey's just having a meltdown because he's back in Tulsa. Oh my God. And it's beautiful there. It's absolutely gorgeous. And he lives in a gorgeous property. It's just, but he's been having a hard time. God bless him. He's one of the YouTubers that inspired me. And I'm not anything like the guy. I'm not an actor. I'm not a creative type. He's musical. He can act. He can sing. He can make animation. Like, he's really an artist. I'm just a semi-retired private investigator that's trying to survive my medical crap show of my life, who's gone on to YouTube to document everything. So, yes, she does. I actually know, I don't have her address in front of me, obviously, but I know what part of New York she lives in, but I'm not going to say it here. But, everybody's probably got that figured out considering where she works. Hey, Colorado and Oklahoma, my sister states. Yep. Supposed to be in the 80s all weekend. No rain. Nice. And you're doing a great job. I'm trying. I'm a little better at the lives than I was when I started, because there were so many new things that had come into YouTube that came into play since, before, especially when I got remonetized, and that was totally unexpected. I didn't even understand the jewels or the jewel program or exactly how the membership worked or the membership tags that you guys can use once a month. You guys that are the pips, once a month, YouTube allows you to, I guess you click where the super chat button is, and you can display. I don't know if I'm calling it the right thing. We looked it up once, but I've already forgotten what it's called. But, the little banners, you can put up the membership banner, once a month, just to remind everybody that you're a pip. So if anybody has that ability to do it, throw it up there. I'll give you a hype. I'll give you a hype if anybody can throw it. It doesn't cost anything. They let you do it once a month. What is my theory about the case? It's been the same since the night that it happened. The Savannah factor, or somebody close to her, or a combination of the two. No ands, ifs, or buts about it. Not a burglary. Not a robbery, not a home invasion gone wrong, not a case of the wrong house, mistaken identity. No, a targeted, planned crime, either against Savannah or specifically against the mother for money. There it is. Kelsers. Love being a pip. You're a pip silver. And remember, the pips, you're the PI posse. And the non-members, which is fine. You don't have to be a member. Hating money. Could be. Let them 66. You don't have to be a member, but if you're not a member, you're a pip. But the members are my pips. And I've got the highest amount I think I've ever had. Let me go over to my YouTube studio, because I checked this just before I went on the air. And yeah, I have 93 total members. Now, most of them are gifted, and only a percentage of those hang around. Possibly jealousy. Could be. Could be. I'm not even convinced that this is a legit kidnapping for ransom, because the notes could be fake, they could be real, they could be red herrings, they could have been written to throw the cops off, that, oh, this is an actual kidnapping when it really wasn't. Or it could have been. Jackie West, you're a pip too. Thank you, Jackie. Yeah, I didn't know you lived in Brooklyn. That's really cool. I haven't been to New York for years. Many years. Like since the 80s. But I was born just a couple hours to the north. New York is a pretty cool city. But so is LA. I'm totally an Angelino, but I do like New York. I could definitely survive there. All the winters would be a little hard for me. But yeah, it's a pretty cool place. I know a lot of New Yorkers out here in LA, actually. It is pretty cool. Have you ever been to the Today Show? I've actually been to 30 Rock several times. But back when I was a kid, they didn't do the Today Show like on the first floor with the windows outside, and they didn't go out into the, the streets, at 30 Rock, out into the plaza there. It was done in one of the buildings, I guess. But yeah. Have you ever gone to the Today Show or seen Savannah walking around Manhattan? Margaret. Hello, Margaret. Got a couple of Margarets in here. Not today, but like that come into the channel. Margaret Gia? Giamo? I can't pronounce it, Margaret. We'll just call you Margaret Gia. So yeah, that's the latest today, is that, I'm not getting any audio anytime soon. And I didn't think I would, but, I took the 5 or 10 minutes to put the request out there to Pima County Sheriff's yesterday. Field of Flowers, putting up the little pink flowers. Those are pretty. Thank you. So yeah, if you haven't seen today's video regarding Jackie, go see it. Go hype it. Give me a day or two and I'll put out the latest on Perez, which I have to say, the news I read today really, really shocked me, because I'm worried about the safety of the kids, but we'll talk about that in another video. Jackie, my husband used to go on those talk shows with his Nana. Nope, never been on the Today Show. Me neither. The lady that did my cancer GoFundMe, that's still, by the way, technically open, it's in my links. She went up to the Today Show from Sarasota, Florida, back, since they've had it like where they broadcast sometimes outside. And I guess she was one of the people that like waved, and she got to wave to her mother, which is really sweet. I'm like, oh, sorry I missed that. I wish I had known. But, my whole life, I've always been, working for most of it. Thank you for putting up the custom channel emojis. Okay, I was only going to go 30 minutes, and I went 34, and I really got to go get something to eat so I can feel a little better here. Thank you. I hate to go when there's 51 people in the room. Everybody give me a thumbs up. I hope you're subscribed to my channel. Thank you so much for watching my videos. It means the world to me. And if anything breaks, I'll always, I can always come back on later. But that's the news for today. Thank you, Leanne. Hey, Pauline. Thanks, Heidi. Okay. See ya.